So the other day I was in a mall and I walked into a store that sells a lot of pop figures, trading cards, and clothing merchandise. And apparently they also sell video games on the side as well. I think that store was called like GameStop or something. Anyways, I'm always looking for some good slop to play, and so I was browsing their retro game selection when I came across a certain game called 50 Cent Blood on the Sand. This caught my eye because I had never heard or seen this game before, and being very curious about it, I went to buy it. Now, since they don't keep the discs in those cases on display, when I took it to the cashier to get the disc, he looks in the drawer for a while and then tells me that they actually don't have it, and after a quick search, not a single GameStop near me had it in stock either. So they take back the game case and I leave the store empty-handed. But I was unsatisfied with that and still curious at playing this game, so I then went home and looked around, and given that it's a PS3 360 era of video game, I load up the Microsoft Store on my Xbox and I type it in to find it, and it's actually there in the database, but it turns out when you click on this, it comes back as unavailable. You cannot purchase it or download it digitally. This was really weird, but it only got weirder when I went to look online for it. The only way to play this game realistically was to get a physical copy, and in doing that, I see that it's kind of an expensive game, ranging anywhere from $100 to even up to $275 on eBay, which is more than double of a brand new video game today. But my curiosity ultimately got the best of me, and I made the purchase. And it didn't take long at all for the game disc to arrive at my doorstep. I booted it into my Xbox and I opened the game, and absolutely nothing could have prepared me for the video game I was about to experience.
Damn, look at that ice, man.
The skull is priceless.
You lucky motherfucker. Okay, let's roll. Where's your boss, bitch?
Withdraw all funds.
Oh, I do my banking online.
Do you remember in the mid to late 2000s where like every single movie property and celebrity was getting a video game made about it? So many movies were being made into games with varying levels of success, but occasionally you would get something a bit more offbeat and strange. A game about a specific celebrity, and in this case, a rapper. 50 Cent had been involved in a few video games prior to this, and notably another one called 50 Cent Bulletproof for the PlayStation 2 made by totally different people. One of the most interesting things about the sequel, 50 Cent Blood on the Sand, was that initially this was a completely different video game in early development. You see, this all started when a British game development company, Swordfish Studios, was developing a third-person shooter game based on Covert 1, a much more serious political spy thriller story that was also originally a book and was also being made into a show, and they wanted the game to kind of coincide with those releases. For whatever reason, this game wasn't coming together too well, leading it to ultimately being put on ice for the time being. In 2008, the publisher, Vivendi Games, was part of the Activision Blizzard merger, and so when that happened, Activision took a look at this project and decided to drop support for it. However, the original studio and devs went and formed kind of their own company, and then Activision eventually sold the rights to this to THQ to publish the game. With the turnover and all of the change in direction studio-wise, so did the tone and the entire premise of the game. While the general bones of the third-person gameplay and mechanics stuck around, the whole covert ops, spy thriller story was completely abandoned. For a moment, it was potentially poised to end up as a Tom Clancy game, but they didn't have the rights for it at that time, and so then it was pitched that this game could serve as a sequel to 50 Cent Bulletproof. So they retooled a lot of the game's mechanics and animations to be more rap-feeling, to use their words. However, much of the level design and the cover system that's very similar to other games in the genre like Max Payne or even Gears of War is still present here.
Do you want a job, man?
The back of the box of the game case says, "Play as 50 Cent, the world's biggest hip-hop star in this fast-paced action shooter. You and the G Unit will battle across 2 countries to collect your payday and exact your revenge on those who have crossed you. Fast-paced action shooter with arcade-style point system, brawler-style combat with brutal melee counterkills, co-op online multiplayer with the G Unit, upgrade your arsenal with over 20 realistic weapons, 40 plus tracks, and 9 classic music videos featuring Fiddy and G-Unit. Now, the reason I wanted to make this video is because, number one, I kind of have a fascination with like lost or rare gaming media. I really like that kind of stuff, and I feel like this definitely fit the bill because I had never heard of this before, and I wouldn't blame you if many of you have never seen or played this yourself because it was an absolute commercial failure. Like, beyond a shadow of a doubt, did not sell well at all. It barely broke more than 55,000 copies worldwide. And since there's not a real way to get the game digitally anymore, your only real option is to get an actual disc, and as I've already shown, it's kind of an expensive game because of its rarity. It really didn't sell that many copies in its time when this game released in February of 2009. Okay, so now you kind of have the background context of where the hell this game came from originally. You know, it was made by a British game development studio that got retooled countless times to where it ended up being a sequel to 50 Cent Bulletproof. Now, what exactly are you going to experience when you play 50 Cent Blood on the Sand? What the hell is this game even about? One of the most unhinged and hilarious aspects of this game is the story. Okay, so the game opens up right away with 50 Cent finishing a concert in some random unspecified location in the Middle East. Literally 3 seconds after he walks off stage, he calls and asks his business partner for the 10 million, who informs him that the deal fell through and he's out $10 million.
Bad news, 50. No deposit.
Motherfucker.
That's right. The money didn't come through. You're out 10 million.
So then he goes to this guy's room named Anwar and then presses him for the cash.
You'll have it. I just need more time.
Time's up.
I don't have the money. It was stolen.
What? By who?
Men working for a gangster named Saeed Kamal.
Instead, as collateral, Anwar gives him a priceless skull. He calls it the Scourge of Odessa or something. It's some guy's wife's skull that he encrusted in diamonds.
Famed for her beauty. He covered it in diamonds when she died and kept it by his bedside.
Damn, look at that ice, man.
The skull is priceless.
You lucky motherfucker. Okay, let's roll. You got transport?
50 takes this as collateral for the 10 million when suddenly they're ambushed by a convoy and a fight breaks out. 50 and the G-Unit fend off the ambush when suddenly this mysterious woman comes out from the shadows and breaks through their defenses and puts 50 Cent on his back foot long enough for her to grab the skull and run off with it. And then 50 says the line that sums up the plot of this entire game.
Where'd she go? That bitch took my skull.
There are 7 missions in total, which each of them are broken down by sub-level. So after the skull gets stolen, you go to mission 2, where 50 meets this guy named Eddie, a strip club owner who is also set on getting revenge against Anwar and some of the other guys. Basically, everyone has beef with everyone else in this game, so much so that 50 is told at the beginning to trust no one. And that couldn't be more true because this game's entire plot is him running into someone new, then they betray him 10 seconds later. The plot is absolutely nonsensical, but that's kind of the point. It's very unserious. The absolute absurdity is part of the deal when you're playing a game where 50 Cent didn't get paid $10 million for a concert. One of my favorites is when 50 is chasing down this convoy with the skull, but your quest and your search for the skull gets sidetracked as you run into these kind of unrelated mercenaries where they capture 50, but you have to team up with the leader to rob a truck driven by 2 chuds with a bunch of gold in it. Apparently enough for 50 to forget about the skull for the time being, even though the gold is only worth $4 million and the mercenary says they're going to split it 50-50. which of course doesn't happen because 5 seconds later he gets double crossed again, and then you got to shoot down that guy's helicopter. Now, it's not just the bad guys double crossing you, as they also start crossing one another as well. Kamal double crosses the lady who stole the skull from you initially, creating a weird temporary alliance between her and 50 Cent. She tells 50 that she can get him help to get the skull back if he helps free her family first, and then in the very next scene she makes out with him.
You go out on foot and destroy it. Climb up to the Citadel, I'll give you air support.
Damn, who put you in charge?
Looks like I'm in charge.
You a crazy bitch, you know that?
But let's talk about gameplay for a second, because when I started playing, I was shocked by the actually pretty solid visuals for the time and decently polished gunplay. Keep in mind, this game officially released in February of 2009 and had been in development for way longer than that. For a game that got totally repurposed and visually overhauled, it's not exactly a bad-looking game by any means. One of the strongest selling points of the game was that it featured 18 brand new exclusive 50 Cent songs in it, with a few of his classics appearing at various moments in the game too. Now, I'm not going to be able to show you guys a ton of raw gameplay of this because there's literally always copyrighted music playing in the background in every level. Plus, I don't think YouTube would care for how many times the N-word gets dropped throughout this game. Anyways, the gameplay has you playing as 50 Cent, obviously, in a third-person point of view, where you traverse through these levels and walk through them with the G-Unit. Worth noting that you can play solo and have a bot G-Unit teammate, but this game did also technically feature a co-op system. You could play this game two-player online with a buddy, but I'd say good luck trying to find a lobby in 2026. The G-Unit members help you, in combat as well as traversing the level design. The combat is mostly gun-based, being able to duck in and out of cover, similar to other third-person shooters, and getting reward for skilled shooting and fast combos. This is, again, also a rollover from the covert ops stuff that they were originally developing. But in addition to that, there is a melee system with these counter kill mechanics. When you're within melee range of an enemy, you can press B to time the strikes and finish them off. But there's a ton of different animations, and each of these kill setups have different timings you have to press the B button. And so if you get it right, you end up finishing off the enemy. But if you mess it up, you will lose a little bit of HP and your enemy gets away. Now, a lot of these takedown animations were also kind of for the covert spy stuff, but were modified to make them more rap, as I said earlier. As you get kills or explore the level, you'll also find stuff like hidden portraits or targets. These are additional collectibles for some rewards that you can get in each level. If you really want to 100% the game, as you're traversing through, there's different paths that you can take. Even though it is a linear game, there's kind of like secret areas that might have extra cash, a portrait, or even an angle to shoot a target. And as you're collecting cash, the way that you can spend this is at a telephone. Every single level has one, and you'll be able to hear it ringing, as you get close by. And when you enter the telephone, you can actually use this as a shop. Now, right here, you can buy things like brand new weapons that all have their own damage profiles and rankings. You can also buy new counter kill animations or even taunts with varying degrees of profanity. These taunts allow you to use them and extract more cash off killing enemies for some reason. These are, there are some funny ones, but unfortunately many I cannot show on YouTube. For comboing well and just playing good in general, after getting some kills, you'll build up your Gangsta Vision bar. And when you use this, it slows down time around you, making so that you can hit shots a lot more quickly as you move at normal speed, but the enemies slow down tremendously. This makes stuff like precision shots or trying to kill enemies that are behind guarded turrets a lot easier. Gangsta Vision recharges pretty quickly, so you're actually able to use this for quite a bit of the level. In addition to filling up your Gangsta Vision meter, what you'll also get from getting kills and specifically comboing really well is you'll get upgrades for different ammo types of your weapon, specifically your deagle. You'll get either explosive or incendiary ammo, and this is really powerful. It's probably like the best ammo type in the game. Like getting this it makes levels trivial, honestly, and encounters just go really fast because the explosive is insane. And you'll also be rewarded different types of grenades for comboing as well that can also make clearing out rooms and the beginning of encounters a lot easier. Even though there are only 7 missions, again, their sub-levels within them do play pretty similar, right? They are very linear, on the rails kind of missions, and the level design can get slightly repetitive, but it's not all this style of gameplay. Every once in a while, you're going to get loaded into a different kind of mission, specifically one that's vehicle-based. In the second level, you drive this truck and you're, pursuing the skull, but you have to kind of survive this course. You need to chase down different convoys, blow up different trucks that are getting in your way, and the co-op player, in this case, if you're playing with somebody else, can be on the turret. You also might have noticed in this gameplay that every single map's finale or boss fight is just shooting down someone's helicopter. That is it every single time. It's just shooting down a helicopter, which can get, a little bit repetitive. And fun fact, the reason that helicopters got added into this game was because 50 Cent's son told the devs that's what he wanted. But it's not just boss fights that helicopters serve as. You actually get to be in one of the more vehicle-based missions where you are the gunner, and it kind of goes on this linear path where that woman is driving the helicopter to different compounds, and you just basically blow everything up for like 20 minutes. It's actually kind of fun, and to be honest with you, it's not even a bad level. And you can even use Gangsta Vision in the helicopter, which makes doing the, in-game pop-up challenges where you need to like maybe get a certain amount of kills or blow something up in time, it makes that a lot easier. I don't know exactly what I was expecting, but I was kind of shocked about how good and competent the level design was and how polished the gunplay felt as well. This is actually one of the biggest praises it got when the game released in 2009. Despite the game being a commercial failure just on all counts, it did get reviewed pretty well. It actually scored moderately high because the gameplay itself was actually kind of solid. I think I was expecting it to be way worse just based on the premise and the rarity of this game and just because of what it is. But truthfully, I was very much caught off guard by how well the gunplay is made and how solid the level design is. It's just not something you would expect from a game like this. Now, anyways, back to the story. As you've been going through, you may have noticed that the plot is completely dumb and nonsensical, and that's because it is dumb and nonsensical. But as we get near the end, right, we've teamed up, we've made this weird alliance with the lady after Kamal betrayed her, but we still need to invade this guy named Wilder's compound to then get the skull because Anwar knows where it is. And we get to this guy's compound, and then I think maybe the greatest moment in the story ever happens. It reaches peak stupid, where 50 makes it to the compound where the skull is actually being held on this table. 50 finds out from Anwar where it is, and then he goes to take it.
Anwar, what's the best way out of here?
There is no way out. I'm afraid you are trapped.
In this place, everything and everyone is for sale.
Who the fuck are you?
I'm a fellow patriot who lied, stole, and killed for my country. And I never made a dime.
So now you're a criminal?
I am a businessman. She was a rare beauty in life, and even in death, the whole world pursues her.
That's my skull. You promised if I delivered him to you...
Of course. All you gotta do is succeed where Kamal failed. Kill 50, and it's all yours.
So wait a second. In this moment, Anwar has 50 right where he wants him. He betrays him and captures him at gunpoint. And then as soon as it cuts to gameplay from this cutscene, 50 then has his guns back, the guards are gone, and Anwar is running away. Like, what happened in between? What happened in this black screen? I have no clue. It's so dumb, it's kind of amazing. So anyways, you kill Anwar for betraying you, but Wilder now has the skull, so then you need to go pursue him. But when you do that, he then captures you and calls the woman that dropped you off in the helicopter, where then she betrays you, and then you have to shoot down Wilder's helicopter.
Oh, if you must. I think you will find this call quite enlightening.
Hi, honey. Sorry it didn't work out.
You fucking bitch!
Oh, don't take it so bad. It's not personal, 50. Well, there. Sorry, baby. You know what they say about girls and diamonds. Guess you and 50 best make friends and compare notes.
For f***'s sake! Finish him! No honor among thieves.
So then you have one final ground encounter where you have the heaviest amount of spawns, you have a lot of enemies to face at the same time as trying to dodge and maneuver around Wilder's helicopter, but you got to shoot that down too, and if you survive that, then you have one more mission. This is the final moment. This is the Halo 3 Warthog level. You got to drive your truck and then chase down the woman who then, you know, took the skull once again from Wilder. I won't lie, this level actually kind of goes hard. Like it's unironically kind of an exciting sequence. So then you catch up your truck to hers and you ultimately destroy it. And so she drops the skull, you pick it up, and I can't just let this cutscene roll because unfortunately, not only is there music, but there's a lot of words that YouTube won't like that's being said. But defeated, she tries to apologize to 50 and to make things right, but he's not having any of it. Takes the skull, puts it in his truck, and leaves her stranded in the sand.
We can start over.
You one crazy bitch.
50 Cent and the G Unit pull away and drive off into the sunset, leaving her in the dust. And then the credits roll. And that is the whole plot and story of 50 Cent Blood on the Sand. You know, I wasn't really sure what to expect as far as gameplay or story when playing a late 2000s video game featuring 50 Cent, but the fact that it was initially a covert ops spy thriller game explains so much of the gameplay choices, and I was truly surprised of how much I liked playing it. You obviously can't take the game very seriously or it completely falls apart, and the story is just dumb. Like, there's no way around that. But on the other hand, it is also a very short and sweet game. You can beat the whole thing in like 4 or 5 hours total. At no point does it feel like it's ever dragging or wasting time. It's a one-of-a-kind game that is also such a product of the time it was made in. I just don't think you would ever see something like this being made today. And the fact that it sold so miserably makes it a pretty rare piece of gaming media to come by, and I can truly say it wasn't what I expected. If there's anything else like a weird or obscure game that you guys want me to check out, if you enjoy, you know, a video like this, I would love to check out any suggestions if you got any, but I don't know about you guys, but personally, I'm really looking forward to the sequel of Blood on the Sand, Final Fantasy VII Part 3, where we get to play as 50 Gil.